on this beautiful March 3rd. Can you believe it? We're already 60 days past in 2025. And to think that we have a chamber filled with red shirts, that the planning already starts for the next Christmas hamper. So I'm glad that everyone's in chambers to start talking about that, and then we can get a little update. Members of council, there's the agenda before you. Deputy Mayor, motion please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll move that the March 3rd, 2025 Governance and Priorities Committee meeting agenda be adopted as presented this evening. Okay,
thank you. Administration, has anything to be added to the agenda?
Thank you, Your Worship. Nothing further to add.
Okay, call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Moving on to the agenda is number 3, is the public input session. This is the time that we allow residents and stakeholders to address council on anything that's not on the current agenda. Administration, has anybody registered to speak?
Through your worship, no one has registered.
Okay. And since we have a gallery full, does anybody like to speak to council on anything that's not on the current agenda tonight? Okay. Seeing none. Would the lady in the blue shirt that doesn't match want to speak? No, just kidding.
Sort of.
It's not yet. Just give me a hard time. All right. Since there's nobody to speak for public input session, we'll move on to number 4, which is our presentations and delegations. Today we're joined by 3 community groups to present, but first and foremost, we have number 1, which is the swearing in of the next deputy mayor. For those that were following along, we had the motion to appoint Councillor Hansard as the next deputy mayor at our previous council meeting, but Councillor Hansard was not feeling good, so the motion was that until she is sworn in, she is not the deputy mayor. So we will do that today. We'll complete that, and then Deputy Mayor Hansard will take over as the chair of the Governance and Priorities Committee. Councillor Hansard, shall we join me? I'm swearing with you, not at you. I'm swearing with you, not at you. If you repeat after me, please. I, Councillor Hansard, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability, execute according to law, the office of deputy mayor, with the house of the province of Alberta. And with Councillor Hansard sworn in as the next deputy mayor, Councillor Hansard, the chair is yours.
We ready? Thank you for swearing me in, Mr. Mayor. Well, it's a really good day when council comes into chambers and we have red everywhere we can see. So tonight we have 3 presentations, and the first on the agenda is we have the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 256. Welcome, and please come forward for your presentation.
Good evening. Normally our President Gordon Morrison comes, but he wasn't able to make it tonight, so he's given me this to say. Your Worship, council members, from the 2nd to the 4th of May 2025, Branch 256, Stony Plain, the Royal Canadian Legion, is honored to be hosting the 53rd Biennial Alberta Northwest Territory Command Convention. The convention will be held at Heritage Park in the Spruce Grove Room and the Heritage Pavilion in Stony Plain. 244 branches from across the province and the Northwest Territories will be represented, which will see approximately 250 to 300 delegates in attendance. Delegates will be staying in local hotels and dining in local restaurants, visiting local businesses, bringing in a significant amount of exposure to the local area. The main business of this convention will be an election of new officers, president, first vice presidents, who will lead Alberta Northwest Territory Command for the next 2 years. Any questions?
All right, thank you very much. Is that all you had to share with us?
That's all.
That's all.
Short and sweet, just like
Well,
me.
we gotta ask her some questions to get more than that. Okay, anyone on council wish to offer a comment or a question? Yes, Councillor Meyer.
Well, it's not a question, it's more of a comment. Sitting on the Pioneer Museum, the Pioneer Museum, I should say, has partnered with you guys and doing steak nights, I believe.
Yes.
Anyhow, David speaks very highly of you guys, and I know you guys are making a donation to the Pioneer Museum. If you wanted to share a bit about that and with the rest of us.
We have some members at our branch who are also working with the Pioneer Museum. Daryl Bazin is one of the members of our Legion as well as the Pioneer Museum. And we did fundraising over the last year to, all our fundraising events for 2024 went to the museum, so we raised $10,000 towards the museum. And in return, they have named that portion, the military portion, after our branch.
Okay, anyone else? Comment or question? Yes, Councillor Anderson.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and thank you for your presentation this evening. Certainly the Legion fills a tremendous need in our community, serving our veterans and families of our veterans, and so thank you for all that you do. Curiosity, biennial, I think you said, so every couple of years this convention is held. How does it end up in Stony Plain? Is that a bid that goes in, or do you get asked, or what does that process look like?
Yes, it is a bid. At this convention, there will be a bid for the next one. And we had put ours in twice in a row, but there was a mix-up with the pavilion and dates, so we didn't get it the first time, so we went the next time, and we did get it.
Perfect. And looking
Yeah.
at our staff, we don't have a mix-up on dates this time around, do we?
Not yet.
All right. No, that's great. And certainly if there's, opportunity for the town and council to show our support, certainly I know myself and members of council would love to be there to support in any way that we can. So thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and thank you, Pat, for being here today to speak and kind of share, I guess, your written response from the President. Just on behalf of myself and our residents, I just want to thank the Legion for everything that they do in our community. I think many of us kind of forget all the events that are hosted and co-hosted by the Stony Plain Legion as well, and the fundraising that they do in terms of supporting our local economy. I think Councillor Meyer mentioned a little bit about the Pioneer Museum, and we forgot to mention that Legion's also partnered with the Pioneer Museum to build a military exhibit. So thank you for that, and I think that was missed, but we appreciate that collaboration to keep our history within our community. And definitely a big thing that we've talked about as members of council is the cost of living in affordable houses in our community, and the Legion stepped up when the Marine Housing Foundation and Stony Plain was looking at affordable housing over at Folkestone. So, and your partnership in Folkestone Manor has provided some lower cost housing for some of our veterans and some of our residents. So definitely on behalf of our community, thank you for the work that the Legion does, and we look forward to that continued support and collaboration.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Anyone else? Comment or question? No? Seeing none, we want to thank you very much for your presentation this evening. Many of us have military connection in our family, and we are very appreciative that the Legion is here, constantly working with and supporting people who have served in the military and other branches of service, including, you guys respect and include EMS and all of these other services in the things that you do. So thank you very much for that. And every now and then, council is privileged to be invited and participate with you and enjoy your beautiful facility. So thank you so much. And please take our sincere appreciation and comments of well-wishing back to everyone at the Legion. Thank you, dear. All right, and before we go on with this, I did want to take just a moment and
Get a picture.
thank, did we have someone else?
Yes, Madam Deputy Mayor, can we take a picture with the Legion?
Oh, we should have a picture. I just do want to thank Councillor Anderson for his service as deputy mayor. He did a good job, and he stayed connected in all the good ways and filled in for Mayor Choi in ways we get to rediscover every time we take the deputy mayor's position. So thank you, Councillor Anderson. Okay, may we have a picture with council? Thank you, dear. Okay, next we have the privilege of inviting the Kinsman Club. These are the guys here all in red. They do have a couple of women with them, and we are very appreciative of all of you for everything you do in our community. I'd like to invite you to come forward for your presentation.
Mayor Choi, councillors, administration, and fellow community members, thank you for the invitation to present this evening. I am Derek Roberts, president of the Kinsman Club of Stony Plain. Presenting with me is Kinsman Ed Burney, and running the PowerPoint is Kinsman Carrie Fanmuller. Accompanying us are members of our club. I would like to provide some information about Kin in Canada and the Kinsman Club of Stony Plain. Kin Canada is a national service association made up of hundreds of locally operated service clubs across Canada that make a difference in their communities throughout volunteerism. February 20th, 1920, the first Kinsmen Club was formed. Since then, Kin Clubs have served their communities across Canada with the motto of serving the community's greatest need. Since 1920, Kin Canada clubs and members have invested over $1 billion into Canadian communities. In the Kin year of 2023-24, Kin clubs collectively raised over $23.1 million. Since 1964, Kin members have raised more than $50 million for cystic fibrosis research and patient care. When Kin Canada first joined the fight against CF, children with the disease often only lived to age 4. Today, Canadians living with CF have one of the highest survival rates in the world. Half of Canadians born with CF today are expected to live into their 60s and beyond. Kinsmen Club of Stony Plain. Our club was formed May 30th, 1979, and this year we will celebrate proudly serving the community for 46 years. At present, the club has 32 active members. The past year, the Kinsmen has hosted or supported 17 events and projects in the community. A few of the community events that you may have seen the red shirts at would be serving at Royal Canadian Legion Steak Nights, decorating cookies at the Westview Health and Tim Hortons Smile Cookies, providing complimentary hot dogs and beverages at One Man's Treasure Street Sale, barbecuing the food at Sky Dancer Cultural Centre, celebrating Indigenous Peoples Days, supporting the Stony Plain Rotary Auction, acts of kindness in September, giving out gift cards to shoppers at local businesses, coordinating the Holiday Smile Cookie campaign in support of Tim Hortons Foundation's camps and Christmas hampers, Kin Kindness Day in February, this year providing over 100 gift cards to shoppers at Red Apple Store, Co-op, Friesen Brothers, Safeway, and the 3 Stony Plain Tim Hortons. Town of Stony Plain events where we are happy to lend a hand, providing complimentary hot dogs at the annual Christmas tree light-up, a financial donation along with loading and unloading the wagons and attending the fire pits at the Family Fest New Year's Eve celebration. We are proud to partner with the town of Stony Plain to host Farmers Days. This event is one of the most looked forward to events in the Tri-Region each year. Due to the tremendous support of sponsors, volunteers in the town of Stony Plain, there is no charge to attend the grounds. The park and ride is complimentary. The activities at the Kids Corral are free. There is no admission to at the 160 vendor farmers market. The event is focused on being family friendly. Aligning with that, the licensed area, our saloon, closes Friday and Saturday evening at 11 p.m. The Kinsmen thank the town for the partnership to facilitate this wonderful event which brings the community together. Special thanks to the Pavilion team, the Public Works team, and the Community Events team who worked to ensure a successful event. Farmers Days is the Kinsmen's largest fundraiser, with proceeds being put back into the community. How the funds raised were put back into the community. In October, at our partner night, the Kinsmen presented 26 not-for-profit groups, charities, and service providers with financial support. The same evening, several local students attending post-secondary education were presented with $1,000 bursaries. This year marked the 100th bursary awarded since 2007. Funds have also been used for capital projects at the Heritage Pavilion and Heritage Park, Pioneer Museum, Parkland Food Bank. Funds raised at Farmers Days also supports the club's largest service project, the Kinsmen Christmas Hampers. I'll now turn over the presentation to Ed Burney, the chair of the Kinsmen Christmas Hampers, to update you on the 2024 project.
Deputy Mayor Hansard, Mayor Choi, councillors, administration, fellow gallery. Thank you, President Derek. Would you like me to proceed and questions at the end of everything? Okay. So, Kinsmen Christmas Hampers. Just a brief overview. The area served by this project is from Veterans Boulevard west to Range Road 32 including the town of Stony Plain and Paul First Nations. To ensure all families are looked after, these boundaries abut to other groups that also have a Christmas hamper program. Registration is done through the Parkland Food Bank for the Stony Plain and Parkland County residents, and through Paul First Nation Social Development, which coordinates with Paul School and Paul Health and Wellness. The food component of the Christmas hampers, this is a upsized food hamper, go to each and every family visiting the Parkland Food Bank during the month of December. This food is supplemented with gift cards to the 3 local grocery stores. The upside food hampers for Paul First Nations are built on Nation mid-December, and the food gift cards are added to each hampers. Volunteers from the Co-op, Black Dirt Company, RCMP, Kinsman join the social development to assemble these hampers. The gift cards to upside the food hampers are purchased from the 3 local stores, Co-op, Friesen Brothers, and Safeway. And this year, the total purchase was $84,000. Each food hamper also receives a family pass donated to the Tri-Leisure Center. Based on the family size, protein certificates of various denominations are provided to the families for them to pick up meat products at Co-op until the end of January. The majority of the costs of the protein certificates are covered by a generous support of our partners, the Stony Plain Rotary. Gift hampers are provided to families that have children 17 years of age and younger. For the families in Stony Plain and West Parkland, the hampers are built at the Heritage Pavilion. The hampers built at Paul First Nations are assembled at the Paul School. For youth 10 to 17 years of age, I'm sure you can all appreciate, we have no clue what to buy them. So a $50 gift card is provided to the parents to purchase a suitable gift. For children 10 years and younger, donated gifts are used to make up the family hampers. Again this year, the generosity of the community ensured that the children received wonderful gifts. In addition to the age-appropriate gifts, the families received puzzles, games, stuffed animals, crafts, and donated toques and mitts, which are actually crafted by our local residents, and there is literally hundreds and hundreds. The parents are provided gift wrap and Scotch tape so that they can experience the joy of wrapping their children's gifts and putting on the label, "To our loving child, love mom and dad." The Christmas Hampers is a service project led by the Kinsmen, but the success comes from the community. The community does so many things to help their friends, their neighbors, and their coworkers. Ways that the project is supported: volunteers decorate, and the community purchases Holiday Smile cookies. A little bit of history on that. The Holiday Smile cookies are now Canada-wide for Tim Hortons, supporting the residents of Canada in each community with millions of dollars. Stony Plain was the test market 3 years in a row, and three years in a row it was not going to succeed, but due to the incredible support of our residents, it's now Canada-wide, so that's a feather in our community's hat. Residents donated gifts and provided financial support. Youth groups volunteered their weekends at Red Apple, collecting donations from November 12th to mid-December. The last Saturday before Hamper Week, the RCMP, Stony Plain Fire Department, and the Kinsmen have a community day at Red Apple. It's so incredible to see traffic slow down to a crawl so they can hand money out the window and give it to our project, the community project, to help their friends and neighbors. The Kinsmen and volunteers are at Safeway and Friesen Brothers on the weekends collecting financial donations and food items. Businesses have toy collection boxes and cash boxes in establishments. The schools collect food, toys, and gift cards. We kick off in September with a motorcycle run organized by Ubaka, and all registrants must make a donation to the Christmas Hampers to ride. Businesses provide fundraising opportunities such as the One Man Treasure online auction, the caramel sales from Kick-Ass Caramels every November. The Atchison Business Association facilitates a Christmas donation drive. The U18 Predator team has, for 2 years in a row, held a teddy bear toss, and last year we got over 200 brand-new teddy bears, which is just incredible. The staff and residents of the local Rehoboth home sew and stuff close to 100 stockings for small children. If that's not those who deserve to be given a hand helping their fellow residents, I don't know what is. The joy when they do that is incredible. The Blueberry Scouts went door to door in West Tara. This year they weren't frozen to death, but previous years it's usually 30 below that day. Whatever day they pick is cold. The Toys for Ticket program, which is incredible. I hope everyone got to see the pile of toys under the Christmas tree in the lobby here at the town. It was just wonderful. The Lighthouse Church and Stony Plain Boston Pizza supply the meals for the volunteers so that there is no cost for any of that. Tim Hortons supplies the coffee and treats every day. The Parkland County Social Club does events, and the proceeds support the Christmas hampers. I have to visit this, but I understand the town's Christmas coffee shop, I'd like to get an invite. They collected an incredible amount of money for it, so hats off to those who came here, and next year I want an invitation. All donations go to the families. Any supply costs to facilitate the project are paid by the kinsmen from funds raised at Farmers' Days. So $1 donated goes to the family. So how did we do this year? 2024 Christmas hampers. Well, we helped 759 families. That's an increase of about 49. We helped 2,015 people. When I say we, I mean we the community, not we the kinsmen. 406 of the families had children, and yes, that is correct. We are seeing so many more families who don't have children, but it's for everyone. 950 youth and children from newborn to 17 years of age were provided with Christmas. I don't have the youngest age as I was able to share last year. So in 2023, if you'll remember, the newest one was 1 hour old because the parents couldn't pick up because they made a call from the delivery room saying, we can't come today. I took it home and made sure they got it. We had 526 were youth, 10 to 17. 424 were 9 and under. Over $135,000 of food and gift cards were purchased for the project, and an estimated $125,000 of food, gift cards, toys, mittens, toques, stuffed animals, stuffed stockings, crafts, games, puzzles, and books were donated by our residents. The Christmas hamper only happens because of our community. We thank the town of Stony Plain for partnering to provide the Heritage Pavilion to make this project happen. Without the facility, those families would not have Christmas. Simple as that. So the community thanks you, administration, council, and everyone who had the foresight to build that building and make it what it is today. An incredible showpiece of our community that hosts so many things, but I think this is one of the most feel-good things that we host in our community. In closing, I'd like to share that many of the recipients articulated how much this meant to their family. And some got out of their vehicles to hug the kinsmen loading the hampers and shared that they were blessed to live in a community like Stony Plain where people cared. I can tell you firsthand that many of us needed a moment to compose ourselves as we received the wonderful and emotional gift of a heartfelt thank you or a hug. We would now answer any questions on our presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Burney. I always get choked up when you speak, so I'm glad I'm not cheering real hard right now. I would like to ask council, anyone have comments or questions? Councillor Anderson?
Well, I will apologize to our kin community in the audience. If you haven't been here before, this is the one that I choke up at as well. And always have a hard time with this one for a few different reasons. One, as a child, was a recipient of the Hamper program, and certainly appreciate firsthand the impact that it has on members in our community. The second is the humility that I see in the men that serve in the Kinsmen and serve our community so well. Even this evening we've heard about, what the community does and what the people in the community do and what administration does and so on. And knowing you were coming today, I've sort of been thinking about how I could describe the impact that you have. And the picture that keeps coming to my mind is that of a ripple, and how these ripples are waves that continue to extend out long after an initial, as I've learned, it's called a disturbance. So to the Kinsmen, you are the disturbance in Stony Plain, and I mean that with the utmost sincerity. You've taken on such a tremendous role with the Hamper program, among others, but you have this initial disturbance that creates so many ripples throughout our community. You create opportunity for economic growth and the partnerships that you have that have been kept local. Supporting local business, whether it's Kick-Ass Caramels, whether it's the cookie decorating, One Man's Treasure doing their street market. You're involved in a capacity that goes well beyond serving hot dogs and hamburgers. I think minus 35, minus 40 this year. You're out with smiling faces serving hot dogs to our community, I'm sure with frozen fingers, but with smiles on your faces. And the one thing I've always heard from any kin that I've ever spoken to is, how can we help? It's never, that's too much. It's never, we can't. It's always, what do you need and when do you need it? And when we have a group of men that unfortunately don't always have the best reputation for being involved in the community and those sorts of things, but you have a group of men that loves their community so much that you give of yourself every single day without asking for anything in return. And to me, that's that disturbance in our community that creates so much good. Creates opportunity for some of our seniors in our homes to knit toques and mitts to distribute to residents. Creates opportunity for businesses to get involved in something beyond the day-to-day tasks of running a business. I had the privilege to talk to many business owners that look forward to the day the kin boxes and posters arrive at their door because they know they're a part of something bigger. So thank you for being that disturbance. We couldn't ask for more. I did a quick look up to see if I could find how many communities are fortunate to have kin groups across the country, and it was anything from 400 to 500. And if their members are half as dedicated as you are, they're in very, very good shape. And so from a bubbling councillor and a grateful community, thank you again for all you do.
Thank you, Councillor Anderson. Councillor Palechko.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'm going to go down a tiny bit different road than Councillor Anderson just went down, because he talks about what, the giving that the Kinsmen do within our community. And I think it goes far beyond that. I think where it starts with is you guys have a great way of working with every organization that there is in our community, which I think builds the community as a whole. And I think Kinsmen do a phenomenal job at that, reaching out to other organizations within the community and getting everybody to help. And I think that speaks loud about what you do within our community. We all know the great things that you do by giving back to our community and whatnot. But I think it goes beyond that too. Think back to when the Kinsmen actually started doing this. I think, if I remember right, it used to be called Santa's Anonymous years and years ago. Any local individual here in our community helped to get that started here in the community. But it wasn't just our Stony Plain area that you guys look after. It's actually the tri-region that you look after. And it's part of the Kinsmen and Kinettes, from my understanding. And if you could speak just a tiny little bit about that, you're fairly modest in what you do, but really I think that's where it started, was back many, many years ago. And I think to myself, as a child, we received from Santa's Anonymous, and giving back now as an adult where we can, I think is really important to our community, and having this ability within our community, especially at what I consider the most important time of year for families, is Christmas time. There's a lot of things that you can bypass. You can bypass a birthday, you can bypass a lot of events, but Christmas time is an event that stands out to most community members. And you guys do a great job at that. So if you just want to talk a tiny bit about Santa's Anonymous and how it became what it is today, away from the Santa's Anonymous trend.
Mr. President, you want me to take that? We have such a great president. He's a man of few words. But he's going to be standing behind Mayor Choi in the picture. Councillor Pleshko through Deputy Mayor Hansard. So yeah, I've only been blessed to being able to help the community for 25 years. That's when I moved here. And it was Santa's Anonymous back then, and the Kinettes in Spruce Grove actually had 4 more years than the Kinsmen group had. So they, I think, are celebrating 50 years this year. And what it was is there was a Kinsman club in Spruce Grove, there was a Kinette club in Spruce Grove, and the same in Stony Plain. And they just worked together. And the key to that is we didn't blur lines. We didn't worry about where the person lived as long as they were in the tri-region. We just, in the background, figured out which group was going to help them. And I think when you're trying to make it so the recipients have respect and dignity, you take away all those barriers and you just make it easy. And we can't talk enough about our partnership with the food bank. They're the experts. They do it every day. But at that time of the year, they're the experts on registration and all of that stuff. And I can't speak higher of the Kinettes and their team. They do the same thing. I believe they were about the same number of families, the same number of folks. So yeah, we helped over 1,500 families in our area. We helped over 4,000 people experience the joy of the season. And it feels good. We had one kinsman tell me and he doesn't speak much, but when he does, he said it hits you right in the feels. Simple as that. So the only negative to that, we had to change our name because Santa's Anonymous is a trademark of some radio station over there. And so Kinsman Christmas Hampers came about, and the Kinette Christmas Hampers, and didn't miss a beat. It was just the way it was. So, but yes, Councillor, it's about our partners, and there are some other red shirts over behind us, and search and rescue. We can't do Farmers Days without that incredible group handling all the parking and handling all the traffic with our town's peace officers and the police. That again is using a resource because they're very good at what they do. And our thanks to them, and also the lone blue shirt, if she's still there, I haven't looked. The Legion is always there, always. And Councillor, you said working together, we're happy to always work with other groups who are providing to our community. It's not a competition. We are so good when we come together.
If I could, just a tiny bit. If I could, just a tiny bit more.
Councillor Pletchko, you had something else you wanted to ask?
Again, you know, you speak to the volumes of what has happened in our tri-region. And it's an effort that has been put by all the clubs forward here over the years. And you know, you look after 4,000 plus people at a time that's really, really important. And I look in the room today and I see, you know, a sea of red with one little blue lady, and I give you lots of credit for coming here today by yourself, but I don't think you are by yourself. You know, you have the support of everyone in this room that comes together at different times within the community. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for the times that you come together as a community to build the community and look after the areas. So thank you very much.
Councillor Loynes.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Mr. Burney, you had mentioned registration, and you had talked about your partnership with the food bank, and that we had an increase of about 40 families this year. Can you just elaborate a little bit more, as we know the region is growing in population, for those that might not know how registration works, and how we can get other families onto this, and if you limit the number of families we help in a year?
So the good thing is we learned early that the majority of recipients for hampers may visit the food bank once a year, you know, another time. Maybe it's September when it's back to school. So we encompass so many, but we have so many partners who are in the business of helping people. At your social development group, they are incredible about getting families in need to the right group. Not just hampers, but to whatever they need. We have a relationship with NeighborLink, which is 19 churches. We have a relationship with some of the other not-for-profits that are only dealing with certain demographics, whether it's seniors, homeless, young people, all these different groups. And it's out of mutual respect and confidentiality that these folks get their names provided to the food bank. We spoke about our incredible relationship with our schools. All those counselors know the resources. This isn't about the Kinsman thing. This is about how our community works together to help those who just need a hand up. And yes, it's a very focal time of year at Christmas, but it happens every day. And I am so proud to, you know, finally be 25 years in, so I can say that I'm a long timer. But I'm not still. I look at the guys behind me, they're a little bit longer. But that's the thing, is what happens every day. Not just at Christmas. That's what happens in our community when the community cares. The groups work together. You know, I can mention, you know, the Rotary, the Lions, the Legion, all the not-for-profits all know how to refer someone. It's not a kept secret anymore, because when you're helping people, it's just the right thing.
Anyone else on council wish to speak, comment, question? I'd like to take a moment then to simply say, I'm glad I'm not the only one that gets emotional about this. I flat out cried the first time you came into council chambers. It was embarrassing almost, but I was really moved to tears. And I do want to say that every year I'm impressed with what you get done. And I know that not one of those things is done just by simply saying, I'll do that. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of pieces that come together. I look out across this room, and over the years it's changed a little bit, but I see a former Public Works employee from the town of Stony Plain, longtime Public Works employee, former Stony Plain firefighter par excellence. I see one of my kids' former school teachers, Mr. Cote, in the back. And there's others of you that I know. We've come to love your faces. We seriously love your red. And we love what you stand for as an organization. And in the front, there's one of my former real estate brokers. Carrie, it's great to have you here this evening. So one of the things I say is these people are not without something to do. They don't sit around with idle time. All of these sacrifices are made in addition to. They give and give and give until it hurts, and then they do more. So you're hearing appreciation of council. You have appreciation of our entire community. So thank you, and we need you back next year too. So thank you very much. Yes, Mayor Choi, you want the last word?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. No, I tried to get your attention, but again, I must have didn't raise my hand high enough, as I've mentioned a few times to other members of council. Thank you for the opportunity. And to the members of the Kinsmen that are here, I guess the disturbance in the force has been felt and appreciated. So I think that was actually a good kind of example of what the Kinsmen has done in our community. I think you touched on this briefly, but I like to highlight this because I think it goes beyond what you do. Is you're also getting the next leaders in our community forward. Right? And I think there's a slide that the Kinsmen has donated $100,000 in bursaries. That's not chump change. With the way education is, that takes a lot of commitment from the members and the work that you do to fundraise, to raise those dollars, to help and provide that education for our residents. So I just want to highlight and thank you for that. I think my next comment is I just want to thank you. Thank you to all the members that are here and the members that are not here. Stony Plain prides itself in our connectedness, our history, and the community events that we do. And everything that we try to do, and we want to think it should work, the Kinsmen has always answered the call when we needed a partner. You know, this past year we've had kind of record numbers in terms of our summer Thursdays, summer sessions, and first night. The Kinsmen is always there to partner with us. So on behalf of the community, thank you for that dedication and partnership, because our community was not as strong, vibrant, and as healthy as it is without everyone stepping up to the plate. So thank you for that. And another thing I'd like to mention, actually, how we actually respect and honor the Kinsmen for what they do. Councillor Anderson mentioned that there's roughly 400 to 500 communities that have a Kinsmen Club in the communities. But I believe we're the only one that flies the Kin flag in our council chambers. It's a sign of that collaboration between the two organizations. You know, we always say that the Kinsmen is very strong in our community, and that is because you are, and that every community member is behind you. And our council and our community is strong is because we have the Kinsmen behind us as well. So on behalf of our residents and myself and members of council, thank you for the work you do. It is felt in our community, and your model of serving the community's greatest needs. Whenever there's a disturbance in the force, the Kinsmen will be there. And Madam Chair, if I can have another moment. Thank you. Are you still doing the PowerPoint? Yeah. Can you go back a couple slides, please? And one more, next one. Okay, a couple more, let me see. Keep going. One more. One more. It seems so much faster when I'm just rolling up my mouse. So. One more, next one, next one, next one, next one. One more. And this one right here. Yep, stop. There you go. Go back. Okay. So when I was looking through this presentation and the agenda, I saw this and I said, serving the Royal Canadian Steak Nights. So I was looking at the picture and said, you know what? If the Kinsman ever wants a former restaurateur to actually tell you what a steak looks like, I'm more than give you some advice. Thank you.
As a former restaurant owner, I guess that was worth hearing, so. Thank you, Mr. Choi, Mayor Choi. Okay, well, yes, you had one more thing to say, Mr. Bernie?
Deputy Mayor Hansard, just before you turned over the microphone to the mayor, I heard you mention you'd like to have us back next year to speak. Is that correct?
If you want an invitation, just let me know.
Well, to me, that's a commitment that we're in this together for more years to come. And my fellow kin would know that I'd be remiss if I didn't ask that question, but are we in?
You can count on us.
Excellent.
Okay. I know I can say that because council did have a discussion about this one year, and I believe at that time council made a commitment to the Kinsman, and as far as I know, that's not been changed, and probably there'd be a big battle if there anybody proposed that we change it, so.
I do remember the discussion, and I remember council and Kinsman saying, as long as there's a need in our community, we're going to work together in whatever format to do that. Just one thing that I'd like to share. Are you cutting? Who's cutting me off? Pat? I'll do it real quick. That's a timer. So just to give you an idea, we have Kinsmen in our club from Stony Plain. That's obvious. Parkland County, that's obvious. Spruce Grove, Onaway. We had one from Westlock. And we have Kinsmen who live in Edmonton, who drive out here to give back to this community because of how we all work together. And throughout the kin world, we are applauded for the relationship of our club with our town and our council. So hats off to you folks.
Excellent, and thank you for that. One thing I do know is, as soon as Christmas is over one year, you guys are well down the road to planning the next year. So it's wise of you to always make sure you've got a place to do this. Because when we look at those pictures of the operation that you run, to put those 759 Christmas hampers together and all the extra stuff, you have to have a big place to make that happen. Big things happen when big hearts and big organizations come together to make it happen. And that facility is a piece of your puzzle, and we're proud to be able to make that available. All right, thank you very much.
Farmers Day, May 30, 31, June 1, don't miss it.
Okay, we always get our promo from you, Mr. Bernie. Okay, thank you so much. They're giving me hints. Would you like to have a picture with council? We should gather. Okay, our last but not least presentation this evening will come from Parkland Search and Rescue. Would the representatives in council chambers come forward for that? Please print your name on the sheets, names, both of you. And this time is yours.
Deputy Mayor, Your Worship, councilors, and everyone else in red shirts or not. My name is Ron Richardson. I'm the Vice President of Parkland Search and Rescue, and presenting today is Zoe Pardo, who's the President of Parkland Search and Rescue. She's been a member of for 12 years, and she's very involved with SAR Alberta as well. And in a few days, she is going to receive the King Charles III Coronation Medal for her contributions to the community.
Thank you, Ron. He's bragging for me because I don't like to. So Parkland Search and Rescue, we've been a member of this community since 1998. We have lots of members, but we will go through that, and I will give you kind of what we've been doing this year so far. To start, oops, wrong one. That one. What we actually do. So our incidents are increasing. In 2023, you can see we had about 16. This actually included the Range Road 70 evacuation with the wildfires. But in 2024, that number has increased to 30. This also, it's provincial numbers, so this includes the Fort McMurray May Fire, Jasper in July when they had their massive fire, and Nordegg in August when they had a big fire too. We can see that we've been putting in a lot more hours, going from 206 in 2023 to 534 in 2024, and we expect that number to keep growing. Our location of incidents. We seem to work a lot throughout the province, but I just kind of did this little blowout to show you that we do actually do quite a bit in this area as well. You can see we've got approximately 7 within Parkland County. These are searches, just general taskings through police agencies. Obviously, I can't give the details because of confidentiality, but just so you know, we are actually doing quite a bit within the area too. Our membership and growth, it has grown quite a lot. So in, lost the spot of my notes. So the Provincial Administration Organization has ramped up their efforts for awareness, which in turn has increased our membership. We have seen a large growth post-COVID, going from 35 members in 2022 to 59 in 2023, and now we are at 77 in 2024. These are active members. These are people participating in Parkland SAR, so going on searches, community events, training, you name it. Our community involvement has also grown, obviously, with all this. With this growth, we are expanding as well as we receive more requests to participate in local events, which we do enjoy, as our members are all looking to contribute to the community as part of joining Search and Rescue itself. For 2025, so far we have 12 requests to participate, doing different things such as traffic control with Farmers Days. Ed and I are best buddies during that weekend, back and forth. And we've also worked with many other groups as well, providing first aid for Ribfest in Spruce Grove. What else? We had the Legion has actually approached us about possibly doing first aid for their big event coming up in May, I believe that is. Without this kind of growth, it would be very difficult to navigate without our dedicated members. Sorry, I'm very nervous. Not sure why. Our successes. So with this amount of people in our team, the training is, I consider this a huge success. We have a training standard for all of our members in order for them to be operational. So we don't have people just walk in and be like, hey, I'm a search and rescue member. It does not work that way. We have a very set standard, and this costs lots of money and time. A lot of the training also requires recertification every 3 years. So to have over 40 operational members is a huge success and testament to the members' commitment. There's just a list there of all the stuff we do. I won't go through it all, but that is everything we are capable of. Other successes we've had, when it comes with this training standard, we are a force multiplier, which allows us resources such as fire and RCMP to focus on their critical tasks. As we did at the Range Road 70 fire, SAR was responsible for the evacuation of Jasper last summer. What we do there is we take away the boring work. So we let the firefighters put the wet stuff on the red stuff, while we control the traffic or go knocking on doors. We have lots of similar training with them as well, which is really good. We're building relationships that way. Our equipment. With more members comes the need for more and updated equipment. With help from donations and grant funding, we have purchased a UTV, GPS, compasses, rope rescue gear, and a new litter so we can move people around safely instead of on a old ancient toboggan-looking thing. And the most one I'm proud of would be the Swift water gear, which we actually used for our first water rescue with the RCMP. And as a side note to that, we actually kitted out the RCMP member in our gear because they had none. So he was thrilled about that, and he stole our gloves, but I'm going to go after him for those. We have lots of partnerships as well. We're constantly working on new partnerships to improve our abilities and our response. Currently, we have one of our members, Neil over here. I call him our resident smoozer. He is working with an MOU with the Stony Plain Fire, and we continue to seek other opportunities for similar mutual beneficial relations. And finally, this is our request to the council and the town. The town, I should say, kindly gives us the use of the hall across the street, which is fabulous because, as I tell my team constantly, stop being a bunch of whiners. We have more than many other search and rescue teams have just by having a roof over our head. But they also provide us with funds, about just over $6,200 a year to keep the lights on over there. As most people are aware, and with the way the utility costs are going, our last year's utilities total was $11,323. That is a far cry from the $6,200 the town graciously gives us. That used to cover, the $62 used to cover it, but the gas and the power and the water, everybody knows it's gone up and up and up, and it's not going down. So that is one of our urgent needs is for the town to consider maybe increasing that grant so we can help cover some more of those costs because the extra is coming out of our training and equipment grant money. And a future need that we would just like to put out there for consideration is looking at possibly a larger space for training and equipment. We all know the hall across the way is always it's kind of on the boards for something, but it isn't, but it is. It depends who you ask. But right now, we make it work. But if a building ever comes up in the future that would meet our needs for our, what are we at, 72 members right now? 72 active members as of today. There's more. We had 13 more join the other night, so that's going up over 80 now. We need a little bit more space. And we could stack them. I mean, we're very independent that way. We will, do what we need to do, make works. But yeah, that's one of the things we would like to just keep on the radar. And as the representative for Parkland SAR, I just want to say that we are truly grateful for all the support we get from the town of Stony Plain. We get a lot more than many of the other 33 teams in the province get. We appreciate the home, the hall, and the support. And we love working with all the other organizations like the Kinsmen and the Legion, and you name it. We love working with them. It's always a blast getting out there and, chasing down vehicles and good stuff like that. So that is all.
Thank you very much. So I hope somebody clarifies this, but please tell us what the difference is between what you receive and what you say you need.
The difference right now is we're looking at, we're just under $6,000 shy from what we receive from the grant to what we actually have to pay out for utilities. And it's been like that since 2021 when it started to climb. It's been about an average of, I would say, $1,200 to $1,500 per year that it's been going up since 2020, I believe it was.
Okay, and this is, and if you don't, you're taking this money from, you said training and what else?
Equipment.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from members of council, please? Yes, Councillor Laurie.
Thank you, Deputy. Yeah, I don't know why that went off. Just a quick question for you in regards to that. You mentioned there's only 33 teams in the entire province, and obviously we have the Tri-Region here and your Parkland Search and Rescue. Do you receive a similar grant from the City of Spruce Grove, from Parkland County, from any other municipalities in which you serve?
We do not, and that is one of the things I was going to actually add on here, but I didn't. We are going to approach them for some money too, because, the team has been relatively small, so we didn't see the need, but as the growth has it overwhelmed us a little, shocked us a bit, so we are approaching the City of Spruce Grove. We are working with Spruce Grove Rotary on some different fundraising opportunities too. But I do have a fundraising committee, and one of their jobs is going to be to approach the Parkland County, City of Spruce Grove, and possibly some other outlying areas, but to get some help as well.
Excellent, thank you, and appreciate that. And as you mentioned, working with the Stony Plain Fire Department, they have mutual relationships with Parkland County Fire Services and so on and so forth. And I know we also have our relationships with our colleagues in the different municipal councils, and more than happy to support you in those endeavors as well, as it is an incredibly valuable service, not just to the town of Stony Plain, but to the entire region.
Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, and thank you for your presentation. Just a quick question, actually. And I hear you say phenomenal growth, and that's wonderful. Do you have any upper limit to your growth, or are you guys kind of taking advantage of popularity now, or maybe you could speak to that?
Yeah, we don't have a set limit right now. We joke because we always got the Edmonton Regional Search and Rescue is the other team. They have a very set and regimented recruitment process. They only do every 2 years. We always joke that we get their cast-offs, and it's made for a very awesome and resilient team that way. We haven't capped it yet, but I think if we were to go over the 100 mark, we would definitely look at capping it. The biggest thing is these are volunteers. We take what time they have, when they have. We get the call-outs. They can be any time. Best example of that was Christmas Day last year. Or was it last year? I can't remember. We got the call-out to go in and look for that couple that actually ended up going through the ice out at Lac St. Anne, and I had 12 people ready to go on Boxing Day to go and do that search. So there's a lot of time commitment. A lot of people can't give time commitment, and there's always a lot of flux within the actual teams throughout the province. There's a whole ebbs and flows constantly. So we've discussed the cap, but we're not there yet because we want to see what the newest members, how many stick around, because there's always that I don't know, I'd say it's about 20 to 30% will usually drop off. So there's definitely some turnover, but we're looking at a cap, but we're not solid on one yet.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Councillor Anderson.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and thank you. And I know you have some colleagues in the gallery as well, so thank you for making the effort to be here with us. when did you switch from the yellows? I know it's a while. How long ago did that happen?
We were talking about that when we came in. Apparently, the Legion didn't get the memo about we were all going to wear red, so. But we did actually, we switched from the yellow, I want to say it was around 8 or 9 years ago.
Okay, so it's been a while. I have a box of yellows in my garage that I've been meaning to get back, and when I knew you switched, I was wondering if there was even a place that you would have, maybe you have a, I don't know, like a PSAR historical like corner where maybe you can hang some of the old gear.
Yeah, we are actually going to work on something like that, and one of the big reasons why we got rid of the yellow is because it's very hard to keep clean. We go through the nasty muskeg stuff, and nobody could keep a yellow shirt, and it was no.
Well, there you go. So 20 years old, I can deliver it and it can be part of history, but certainly appreciate what PSAR brings to the community. It's probably been 15, 20 years since I had the privilege to volunteer with what you do and got to know the inner workings a little bit, but always a tremendously dedicated group of individuals. Not unlike the rest of the individuals in the gallery today, but you fill an important service, and it's one that maybe we don't see every day, but we would certainly miss it if we didn't have it. And the preparation that goes in, and sometimes the calls don't come in, and, you know, is what we're doing really worth it? I know sometimes that question starts to get asked, but, you know, having a team that's trained, readily available, and willing to go when they're tasked is a tremendous benefit to our community and to our greater region. And so congratulations on the award of the medal. Was looking at some of the long service awards that were going out to members as well. I think even rivaling Mr. Bernie's 25 years with the Kinsmen, you've had some members that have been around a long time. And so please take our appreciation back to the team, share that with them, let them know we're so grateful for what they do. In terms of the dollars thing, I don't get to sign the check, but I would suggest if you have those conversations with Spruce Grove and Parkland County and the need still exists, certainly reach out to our staff, and I think there's a conversation that can be had there. So thank you for being here, and thank you for all you do.
Mayor Choi.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Appreciate the opportunity. And thank you for presenting today, and definitely always enjoy the presentations that come forward. Definitely see you every week doing training across the hall, which is bodes well for the amount of hours that your members put in. Just wanted to highlight one thing that you had there in your stats is the Fire Prevention Week for 2024. It looks like something new that the Parkland Search and Rescue is doing, and I appreciate that. Knowing that we've got weather fluctuations that we can't control, and we're having more and more forest fires. And definitely, even in our community, we try to maintain the natural and beauty of our community. There's lots of forests or lots of trees, so definitely that having that Fire Prevention Week and your assistance will help us and our residents get prepared just in case if there is anything that does break out in the town of Stony Plain. So thank you for doing that. And I just want to say, you know, if the operating cost has gone up, and obviously it has, and it's gone up for everyone, yeah, please do not hesitate to come make a presentation to council or have a conversation with our staff for extra money. And we'll, like as mentioned by Councilor Laurie, we'll definitely we'll be lobbying our counterparts as well to make sure that there's equal funding. So maybe like 10,000 each. I don't know. I'm just throwing numbers out there. Just don't hold me to that. I'm just. But
Just gonna write.
yes, but I think there's definitely I guess a return on investment there. Looking at the number of hours that not only do you do within our own community through volunteering our community events, but the numerous assists with the RCMP and throughout Alberta. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars each year that volunteers have given back to our community and to the province. So please take that back and do not hesitate if you guys need anything. Definitely, we're there to provide that assistance because we understand the value of the work that's done by Parkland Search and Rescue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
I must
very
say that the attention you pay to the presentations is quite gratifying.
Yes, and Thank you for that comment, and I was kind of tease everybody because when I first came here, I didn't know how to read English, so for me to actually understand what's on the page is rewarding to my teachers and to the library as well, that I'm able to present that and understand that.
Thank you, Mayor Choi. Anyone else? Okay, well, thank you very much. We always appreciate having all of our organizations come to us. Would have been helpful to know your budgetary needs a little earlier for the budget process, but still you need to let people know what you're struggling with so that we can help. Otherwise, if you keep it quiet, we have no way to speak to that. So thank you very much, and we'll go on with the rest of our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to go ahead with the rest of our meeting. We only have a couple of more items on the agenda for this evening. And the next item on the agenda would be the adoption of our committee minutes. Because we're in our governance and priorities meeting. Councillor Palechko, would you come forward with the motion, please?
Yes, thank you. That the February 3rd, 2025 Governance and Priorities Committee meeting minutes be approved as presented.
Thank you. All right, do we have any questions on this particular item from anyone? Yes, Councillor Loynes.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just for the sake of uniformity, I noticed where we have who is present listed, go across, it says councillors, and we're all listed. When we go down to others that were present, it talks about APFA, and then it says Pam was there, and the members of public, technically it's blank, because Catherine Way's name is higher than her line. Just curious if that is, yeah.
All right, thank you. I'm just trying to find out what happened to the minutes. This says committee minutes. Is that our This meeting?
Yes, that is.
Okay, so we went right back to February for this.
No, this is on page 48
Yes.
of our agenda.
Okay, I read that. I just wanted to make sure we weren't missing something. All right. Very good. So, no other questions or comments?
Councillor Hansard, can we have an answer to the question? Deputy Mayor?
Yes, we do. Okay.
Through Deputy Mayor, we will get that fixed.
All right, that was an answer. Thank you very much. All right. I'll call the question on this motion since no one else has indicated they wish to speak. All in favor? And that motion carries. We have no business items this evening for our meeting. And that carries, oh, we have council discussion is our next item. Trusting somebody's got a few things they might want to bring up. Anyone? Yes, Councillor Meyer.
That's 2 weeks in a row I get to be first. All I had to do was ask. So I have a few, Deputy Mayor. First, I have a question regarding Heritage Park. I'm wondering if, through you to administration, if they could speak to, now that it's starting to thaw and all the rest of that, when the Christmas decorations may be coming down. Rotary Park, sorry.
Through your worship to, through Deputy Mayor to Councillor Meyer and all of council, I'll inquire about that with operations. I know that with the very fast thaw that there may have been some of the decorations that have not been recovered yet or been looked at in the park. So I'll get some dates about when the crews are planning to get out there and get them taken care of.
Okay, thank you. If I could have another one?
Yes, go ahead.
I was asked by an individual to bring forward a concern regarding it would be north of the railroad tracks on Main Street. We had flower pots there in the summertime. I imagine those got taken away the resident mentioned they had been taken away in the winter. I imagine that was for snow clearing. So through you to administration, I'm wondering if they can just discuss when those might be coming back and if they have any other plans regarding pedestrian safety during the winter months.
Through Deputy Mayor to Councillor Meyer and all of council, you are correct. The flowers were taken down in the fall of last year as the end of the season came up. We do remove and recover the flower pots. In the meantime, we do encourage that pedestrians using that corridor, and I do travel that myself, and I'm walking through there to adhere to the pedestrian lines that we can see as far to the left on the road as possible, and use the trail as much as possible as well. In the summer, as the line marking and the other horticulture events get going, we'll be re-highlighting where the double lines are and better delineating the locations for people to walk down the corridor.
Okay, and if I could just add to that, so just to further, I believe the concern is there's a number of out-of-school and daycares in the area, so there are small children that might, some actual physical barrier might be a good idea to help corral children from running into the road. And then another one, if administration is going to respond to that, or.
Administration, did you wish to speak to that?
Through Deputy Mayor to Councillor Meyer and all of council, like I said, as I mentioned before, we do enhance and outline the pedestrian corridors for people to use. I am aware that, and I know our staff are too, that there's some different facilities that for different people, and including daycares, as you mentioned. I know when buses do drop-offs in and around that area, they also do use their full hazard ability on the buses, so they'll put the stop signs out, and we do ask that all users of the roads obey the traffic safety guidelines as well as those from the buses as well. One of the things that our staff are considering through traffic safety initiatives and otherwise is, how do we make a full throat approach with all of our roads to make them safer, this one included. As we've seen, we do try and make enhancements where we can to make sure it's safe for everybody to use.
Thank you, Mr. Newstead. Anyone else? All right, we'll go through the rest of council with a roundtable discussion. Mr. Mayor, would you like to start on that end?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Definitely appreciate the opportunity. Again, just highlight to members of council and those that are watching is that this week is the Alberta Municipal Spring Caucus, and that's our municipal organization for the provincial government. So lots of members of elected officials will be there to kind of share, network, and learn from best practices from our colleagues. There's also an opportunity for us to have a bear pit session with the Premier and ministers. So definitely I have registered to attend, so I'll be sitting there with some pointed questions to the Alberta Transportation Minister and Infrastructure Minister in terms of getting maybe a school, a couple roads completed within our community. So again, that's a good time for members of our community to kind of just keep their ears on and just hear what's on the news and what's going on there. And my last point is I just want to say thank you, Deputy Mayor. You did a good job of getting everybody through the queue and presenting. Sometimes it's hard to tell who's who when they're all wearing the same color shirts, but you did an admirable job. I just want to make sure that I wanted to kind of just put this out there into the community that there was a theme here of partnerships. And I think we heard that from all three groups that presented today of what they do and how they affect our community. And the theme was that they also appreciated the partnership and working relationship with the town of Stony Plain. Right? That doesn't happen by accident. As mentioned by all the groups, Stony Plain and their partnership is one of the best. That we provide more, we give more, because we understand what that means to our community. And I mentioned that at the last presentation, if you look at all the volunteer hours alone for all the community groups, probably $500,000 in actual cost. There was, with Parkland Search and Rescue, they said there was about 7,500 hours throughout the year. Even if you just use the basic math of minimum wage of $15 an hour, that's over $100,000 that they've saved taxpayers' dollars to support our communities, to help initiatives. So when you add up the Kinsmen and also Legion, probably over $500,000 in savings to our community. So there is a theme, and the theme is partnership and collaboration, and the town of Stony Plain will always be there to support our user groups, community groups, because they're there to support us as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Anderson.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. A couple of quick-ish things this evening. Just want to pass on appreciation to administration. Brought up a couple of pothole areas last week. I actually slowed down just across from Westview Health Centre to what I expected to be a big pothole had opened up there, and it had been filled. And so certainly appreciate the work of our public works teams that are out filling some of those. But as we know, we have some that the town is not necessarily responsible for directly, but more in advocacy. And so just going to look to administration for a brief update on the conversation with Alberta Transportation and how the pothole conversation is going in terms of repairs specific to 779 through town.
Through Deputy Mayor to Councillor Anderson and all of Council, the town does coordinate with Alberta Transportation and its contractor as we get complaints either submitted through our Public Works Department, or if Council or other members of the public submitted through the town, we do pass those on. I know they were out last week. I saw them myself patching the ones that we did report, I believe, would have been the day over the day before the last council meeting. This time of year, with these with these conditions where the water is draining onto the roads, they're impossible to predict. We do pass on the serious and the ones that we personally observe, as well as any that are reported to the contractor. They have been responsive. What I would say is reasonably responsive to our requests. But certainly, if we're missing any, we do encourage the public to call Public Works and let us know where they found the new ones, and we can alert them if we've already been aware of it.
Perfect, and I appreciate that. I think it's a game of whack-a-mole, right? We deal with a few and they pop up somewhere else, and so certainly a thankless task at times that we don't necessarily see all the ones that are fixed, but certainly drive through all the ones that aren't. Just a quick follow-up there. I know that residents can submit through our Report It portal. They can submit directly to the town. When it comes to the Alberta Transportation, specific to 779, 16A, 628, and so on, is it best for residents to submit that through us to pass on to Alberta Transportation? I've heard some residents contact them directly, so just looking for sort of best practice.
Through Deputy Mayor to Councillor Anderson and all of Council, either one works. If you are able and comfortable to contact the province, that is a way of putting it in. I'm not going to say one is necessarily better. Certainly, putting as much notification out there as possible is going to help get eyes on the problem as quickly as he can. Like I said, our staff do communicate with the Alberta Transportation operations teams as well as the contractors. So if there's ones that we see that our staff see developing a little bit faster into a problem, then the contractor may not be aware, because they do get lots of requests outside of Stony Plain as well. We can highlight them a little bit faster as well. So there's not necessarily a more right one. Either one will work, but our staff do diligently try and make sure those are passed on. Perfect, and appreciate that. And in regards to those roads, that's the role we play, is information sharing. So thank you for that update. As has sort of been practice the last couple of years, trying to take time at the end to express gratitude. Coming into this evening, knowing what our agenda looked like, felt like our service groups was a pretty logical area to focus gratitude on this evening. And so I started to make a list. And we would be here all night if we listed all the different service groups that were involved in our community. And so I did highlight a few that I'd like to share, but it's certainly not exhaustive and inclusive of all the organizations that do such good work in our community, but I think offers a little bit of breadth to the conversation about how many groups are active, what value do they bring to the community. When I go through this list, I would suggest it's well beyond $500,000, and certainly to a point where I don't think we could even quantify the impact that they have on a daily basis in the area. But that's everything from Lions Rotary, NeighborLink, our Kins Clubs, Community Volunteer Income Tax. I know that's a big one coming up. They're getting geared up. Parkland Star was here this evening. Our warming spaces and PFK have done a tremendous amount of work through the cold weather this winter. We have food programs outside of Parkland Food Bank, but it's certainly including Parkland Food Bank, Food for the Soul, the APFA, over at the Family Connection Center and the Food Rescue. We have youth programs from Parkland Young Life, Stony Plain Youth Network, to our own youth staff, Sky Dancer, the Parkland Pregnancy Support, and so on. And I could again be here all evening, but certainly want to extend on behalf of a grateful community and a grateful council, gratitude to those community service groups that fill the gaps each and every day, the programs that maybe are lagging or missing or don't quite have the funding dollars that we would hope. There's people ready to stand in the gap and help those in need, and so we're certainly grateful for all they do and all they bring to our community. Gentlemen that stuck around till the end,
certainly you are included in there and appreciate all you do as well. Thanks for being here this evening.
Thank you, Councillor Anderson. Councillor Laurie.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess ditto? I had a couple things written down. No, and again, truly, this is why I love the first council meeting of every month with our Governance and Priorities Committee, when we do get to see those community groups come in and do those presentations to council. Because we spend a lot of the rest of the meetings dealing with the things we're mandated to deal with under the MGA and our roads and sewers and garbage, which, you know, all are very important to keeping our community ticking. However, it really is the community partners that make us who we are and make us a community. And so it's always wonderful to hear from them and a pleasure to have them in chambers, and we appreciate the work they do, as well as to be invited to their events and get to participate there. And this past week, Councillors Meyer, Palechko, myself, Mayor Choi, we had the pleasure of being at the Tri-Region Tri-Smart Faith Breakfast, hearing from our faith community and the work that they're doing. Again, things like the warming centers and that they're involved in, Food for Soul. I'm trying to remember the clothing program. Thank you, Garments of Praise. You know, so learning about a lot of the different organizations through our faith community that serve as well. All the way through to this afternoon, we had our Francophone school. I think almost every student from the Francophone school, Mayor Choi was very happy that, again, he fit in from a height perspective with the majority, but I think we had somewhere in the range, I would guess, about 75 to 100 children here to raise the Francophone flag at Town Hall to celebrate Francophone Month, which, again, is another great part of our community that is a relatively newer part of our community. They've always existed in our community, but they now have a place where they can get the education of their choice in the language of their choice, which is an official language of our country. And we are very optimistic in hopes that with the provincial budget that was released, we may hear some news in regards to what the plans moving forward. We know it's a starter school in our community and looking very much forward to see what the plans will be for that afterwards. Would be remiss without, again, another huge thank you to our staff, particularly our roads crews and our public works crews. Again, as was noted already tonight, been sending in locations that we see as they come across, because despite pleading, I don't know if it's understood that Facebook is not monitored by town staff 24/7, 365. So definitely encourage residents to report potholes, drainage issues, any type of issues through the appropriate channels so that the message actually gets through to those that need it. However, this has been a phenomenal season, because it seems like every time I've sent something in, the next time I go past it, it's already been addressed and dealt with. So our crews are on top of it. They are serving our community wonderfully. They're doing an incredible job, and just a huge kudos goes out to them, because really, aside from 779, the rest of our community is looking pretty top notch for the type of swings in the weather that we've had all winter long. So really appreciate that. As mentioned, we did have the provincial budget drop last week. We do have the opportunity this week with our President's Summit and Municipal Leaders Caucus to hear a little bit more from the provincial government of that. Excited on one hand for things like grants in place of taxes to bring the provincial tax rate, or the provincial taxes to the municipality back up to par within 2 years, rather than only receiving half from the facilities we have in our community. But then a little bit concerned when we see the education property tax increase, which comes on a municipal bill, and making sure that when that bill goes out, we have that understanding of what belongs to the municipality and what belongs to the province as we move forward with that. So lots of very interesting ongoings over the last couple of weeks and to come in the next couple of weeks. And so look forward to working with the rest of the council on that. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Laurie. Councillor Meyer.
I got to be first, and I get a second go around. I appreciate.
Did you speak first? We're
That-
going to do this differently. You go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was just going to add, Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, where all us good Christians renew ourselves and prepare for Easter. So that's a big one coming up. But I otherwise already got to cover off my other two.
Councillor Loynes.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. As we're going on the theme of gratitude and appreciation, I'd just like to extend my thank you to my council colleagues. The last week and a half has been a little bit chaotic in my own personal life with my children, and I have not been able to attend events that I had every intention of being a part of. So it is always great to know that we have such a strong team that are able to be there to help pick up the slack when some of us aren't able to be there for any particular reason. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you.
Councillor Palechko.
Not quite last, but close.
That's okay, I'll speak last.
I figured that. I thought I might pass tonight, but there is one thing that I want to talk about, and that is when I come into this council chambers, I'm always amazed by the lack of people in chambers. And over the past 7.5 years of being here, that chambers has grown over time, and it's concerned residents that we see at certain events, and then where we see a really drastic increase in people is from our organizations within our community. When they come to talk to us, they bring a multitude of the people that represent them. And I think that speaks loud for everything that our community members do. They take great pride in what they do, they give back to our community, and they believe that there's an effort coming and talking to council by coming out and showing the support for each of their organizations. So I think it's important that we acknowledge everybody that comes out in a community event, whether it's coming out to voice concern over a heated debate that we're going to have at council chambers, or whether it's a representation from our community telling us about all the good things that they're doing within their community. So I just wanted to say thank you to each one of the members and the public for coming out to events that we put on. It's always nice to come into council chambers and actually have a full chambers rather than empty chambers and having to talk to kind of each one of ourselves. So thank you to everybody that takes the time and effort to come out.
Thank you, Councillor Palechko. Well, the last thing is that I want to echo everything. Councillor Loy made a couple of points that I thought were excellent. And I do want to say that I want to give a shout out. This happened several times in these chambers lately, so it's not that we don't love all the other departments, but Public Works came to the rescue of a senior couple who actually were trapped, could not get out of their house to their cars, and couldn't approach their driveway from the street because the ice had piled up and melted and become a hill at the drainage. And there was like a 10-foot wide sheer lake. So they couldn't even approach the driveway from the road. And a quick phone call, the next thing that happens, I get a call back telling me that they were already there. They've cleared everything. And the road was flowing like a river. So I drove by, and it was flowing like a river. And what relief. The driveway could drain, the street, all the neighbors to the north were draining. So if you keep an eye out for that, councilors and others, and maybe perhaps Public Works, note what is happening around those drainage outlets, because if it piles up, people are really in a bad place in some cases, and here was one. So kudos to Public Works for quick action, and it did solve the problem immediately. It'll take a while for it to drain, but there was at least passage cleared so they could get to the driveway, to their cars, so they could go to appointments. So thank you so much. And if you'll pass that on to your Public Works General Manager, Newstead, it's really important that they know we don't just say it here, but that it gets back. And with that, we are to the end of our meeting. I want to thank everybody for great participation, administration for preparation, all the groups that came, and we'll always see that red Kinsman shirt as the last people in the audience when they come. So thank you for that. It was a pleasure having you. The meeting is adjourned.